Krishna. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Suvayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. In the previous two shloks, that is shlok number 14 and 15, Krishna very nicely explained about the circle of sacrifice, that is the Yajna Chakra. Krishna said how the Vedas appeared from his breathing, and in Vedas the prescribed yajnas are mentioned, and then how due to the yajna the rains come, and due to rains there is good field production, that is the grains grow, and due to the grains the human beings maintain their body, and then again the human beings, they read the Vedas, do the yajnas and keep doing their prescribed duties, and this is how the cycle continues. So we see that the circle starts with Krishna and comes to the living entities, and the living entities again do the yajna, which is the prescribed duty. So this circle goes on, and this is why it is known as circle of sacrifice. Now we will come to know about the people who don't follow this cycle of sacrifice, and this is explained in shlok number 16, which is the last shlok of Karma Kand in this chapter, Karma Yoga. Shlok number 16. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayat iha yaha aghayur indriyaramo mogham partha sajivati. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayat iha yaha aghayur indriyaramo mogham partha sajivati. Word meanings: evam, thus prescribed, pravartitam, established by the Vedas, chakram, cycle, na, does not, anuvartayati, adopt, iha, in this life, yah, one who, aghayuh, life full of sins, indriya ramah, satisfied in sense gratification, mogham, useless, parth, O son of Pritha, sah, one who does so, jivati, lives. Krishna is telling Arjun, my dear Arjun, a man who does not follow this prescribed Vedic system of sacrifice certainly leads a life of sin. For such a person, delighting only in the senses lives in vain, which means his life is completely in vain. Krishna is telling Arjun, my dear Parth, Nanu vartayata iha yaha. It means the one who does not follow. Follow what? Evam pravartitam chakram, the prescribed cycle of Vedas. Then Krishna further says, for such people, aghayur indriya ramo mogham partha sajivati. Krishna says that such people lead a sinful life and their life is a complete waste. Now let's understand what Krishna is saying from the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada says that Krishna has condemned the mammonist philosophy of work. What is this mammonist philosophy of work? It means work very hard and then enjoy all the material things. Today, we actually see this philosophy in the entire world. People are working so hard. Sometimes it is from 9 to 6, 9 to 9, only for salary, bonus, increment and promotion. And why all this is happening? It is happening so that they can lead a luxurious life and do maximum sense gratification. That means enjoy the worldly things. Such people are not aware of what they are doing with their human form of life, which is so rare to find. Srila Prabhupada clearly says that we are here for a purpose, and the purpose is self-realization and not sense gratification. Therefore, the people who are too much inclined towards the material enjoyment must follow the cycle of sacrifice as prescribed in the Vedas. Otherwise, they are leading a very risky life. And the risk in this is that once we lose this human form of life, then we fall in the trap of 84 lakhs of species to again get a human form of life. And if we think very deeply that if the material enjoyment would have been the purpose of human life, then have we ever found a single person who, after doing the sense gratification or acquiring all the material things, is really happy? There is not a single person who, after enjoying the material world, is really happy, because we often come across that rich people are lonely and depressed in spite of leading a luxurious and stylish life. The reason for this is the temporary nature of all the worldly things. Today we may buy a new car, and in 24 hours it doesn't remain brand new. And this is the case with everything, whether it is a house, clothes, or anything else. So these worldly material things can never give us permanent happiness, because we are souls, we are eternal. How can we ever become happy with the temporary things? And more sense gratification only adds to our miseries. Srila Prabhupada always says that if we keep adding ghee to fire, the fire will never be satisfied. It will want more and more ghee. So, it's absolutely proven that indulging in material things never brings satisfaction and happiness. Now, in this shlok, the reason for the unhappiness and the solution for happiness for those people who wish to enjoy this material life is given. And along with this, Krishna says that whose life is a complete waste. Prabhupada explains the sense gratification with a wonderful example of body parts. The proper way to have food is through the mouth. This all of us know. But when someone is ill, then the food is injected through the nose or through the rectum. But that is not a normal way. The normal way is to put the food in the mouth and then it goes into the stomach. Suppose the fingers of our body feel that why should they give food to the stomach, who doesn't do any work and just sits idly. Then slowly the hands, legs and other body parts will become weaker and weaker. In the same way, all of us need to do our prescribed duties, and our duty is mentioned in the Vedas according to the Varnashram. And all the work has to be done in the form of sacrifice, which means not for sense gratification, but for the happiness of Krishna. And when Krishna becomes happy, we automatically become happy, just the same way as when stomach is happy, then the full body is happy. We are a part and parcel of Krishna. So when Krishna becomes happy, we become also happy. Prabhupada says that the entire creation belongs to Krishna, and He has given us everything to maintain us. And we have seen it in the previous two shloks that how we humans depend on the grains and from where the grains come. This we have discussed in detail in the circle of sacrifice or in the Yajna chapter. So it's absolutely clear that the cycle of sacrifice is for the people, for the human beings who want to become happy by following the cycle of sacrifice. And if the cycle of sacrifice is not done, then it's a sinful life. Why is it a sinful life? It is a sinful life because Krishna says, Aghayud Indriya Ramo Mogham Partha Sajivati. Aghayu means sinful and Indriya Ramaha means one who is only doing sense gratification or satisfying his senses. And then Krishna says his life is Mogham, which means useless. Now we might think that if we are not meant to satisfy our senses, then why are senses given to us? In answer to this, Srila Prabhupada says that our human life is meant for self-realization and not for sense gratification, because sense gratification is done in all the lower births. So the main difference between human beings and the other species is that only human beings can do self-realization. Self-realization means to understand who am I, what is the purpose of my life, from where have I come and where will I go. And self-realization can be achieved by following the cycle of sacrifice. And the sacrifice prescribed for Kali Yuga is Harinam Sankirtan, which is given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. And by following the 4 regulative principles of Srila Prabhupada, that is, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit relationship, and no intoxication. And by doing Harinam Sankirtan, everyone will become gradually pure, and then the desire for sense gratification will automatically go. And then we human beings will understand the purpose of human life, and our human life will not become useless. To make us realize the purpose of human life, the cycle of sacrifice is given in the Vedas, and Srila Prabhupada guides us in the most simplest way. We just need to offer everything to Krishna and then put it in our mouth. And by taking Krishna Prasad, all the propensities of enjoying the worldly things will gradually fade away, and human life will achieve its aim, that is, to go back to Godhead by breaking this endless cycle of birth and death. So this verse is specially for all the people who are much interested in sense gratification. And by following the circle of sacrifice, such people will enjoy the worldly things and at the same time will not lead a sinful life. And this verse is the last verse in which Krishna has spoken for the people who want to enjoy the material things, whom we call sakam, or working for fructive results. And for them, the cycle of sacrifice is compulsory. Otherwise, their human life will go a waste. Now in the next verse, we will get to know from Krishna that this cycle of sacrifice is not compulsory for whom. This is going to be very interesting and important. So stay connected with Bhagwat Gita, and we shall meet again on the coming Sunday. Now before ending the shlok, let us answer few questions to make ourselves confident that we have understood the shloka very nicely. Question number 1. What is the circle of sacrifice, and for whom is it compulsory to do the circle of sacrifice? Question number 2. What is the main aim of human life, and how does the circle of sacrifice lead to achieve the aim of life? Question number 3. Which philosophy of material world is condemned by Krishna and why? And the last question is, how can we save our valuable human life from becoming useless? I thank all my listeners for encouraging me, and please do write your comments. Hare Krishna, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.